Hey folks, welcome back to Spey Fishing with Jon. I'm Jon Hazlett from the Ashland Fly Shop. I'm going to show you 3 drills that'll help your forward cast. The forward cast is often the overlooked part of any Spey cast. You know, we work on anchor placement, D-loop stroke, D-loop formation, so on and so forth. Forward cast is the last thing that happens, but it's a critical part of the cast. One thing that we as casters, whether it's single hand or two hand, often do wrong is overload the tip of the rod. And so there's some things you can do to avoid that, but what really happens when you overload the tip of the rod is that you'll throw a tailing loop and you'll never get that distance or power that you're looking for. And so if we engage the butt of the rod, the meat of the rod, that's where the horsepower is, it'll make casting easier, more effective, less effort, and we'll be able to cast further, which is, you know, something we all need to do and want to do at times. So what happens when you overload the tip of the rod, or how that occurs, is when you lever the rod. If you lever the rod like this, you're engaging the tip of the rod more than you are the butt. And so, you know, yeah, be it a Spey cast or single hand, overloading the tip is bad for the reasons we just discussed. So to engage the butt of the rod, we have to pull through a stroke. Now, most of our Spey casting is done with short head lines. I've got a Rio Scandi on here today. We fish a lot of Skagit lines and short Skagits and even shorter lines these days. And so it's real easy because our stroke is so short to tip cast. But if we can pull down through a stroke in any varying degree, that's going to generate more load, horsepower, and greater distance with less effort. Okay? How do we do that? Well, a good casting stroke starts, we've all heard 10 and 2. Our back cast starts here, whether it's single or two hand. Starts here. So this is known as a key position. And from the key position, notice my top hand is even with my cheek, my bottom hand is out. And from here, with a Spey cast, I want to pull down through the stroke. So as I pull down with my bottom hand's going to go right into my stomach. I engage the butt of the rod, the meat where the horsepower is, and then I finish with the tip, just like that, okay? So I'm kind of tucking that butt right down into my stomach, okay? That's how you do it. So here's 3 drills that'll help that out. Drill number 1, roll cast. So roll cast, you can very slowly get to that key position here and then work on that forward stroke, okay? We all know what a roll cast is, but I can very slowly get to my key position and then boom, pull down into the stroke. Now as you advance into Spey casting, you'll learn what a switch cast is. Switch cast is a fundamental cast. It goes right back where it started. It's more like an energized roll cast. It's in the splash and go family, and it's a fundamental of the single Spey. So a switch cast is actually a Spey cast, and it looks like this. But if I want to work on my forward stroke, this is a great way to do it. I can bust out a million of these, whether I'm on a river or I'm on a lake. But as I switch cast, I'm going to get my hands to the key position every time, and I'm going to work on pulling down through the stroke. And notice how I don't do this at the end of the stroke, okay? My top hand, as I come down, boom, it stays at not at a 90-degree angle, but it's still bent, okay? If I push through a stroke, then I'm going to end up straight. So switch cast is a great way, great fundamental, great way to work on that forward cast. And I've quoted Chris King a lot on this before, but there's a switch cast in every Spey cast is what he says. So if I'm doing say a snap tee, there's my switch cast, okay? So the second half of that D-loop stroke, that's my switch cast. So switch cast, really that motion going from here to here helps me work on that fundamental. And this is also called the swivel to the key position, okay? So once I get to here, my top hand swivels to that key position. That's also called the circle up. Boom, I circle up to the key position. So switch cast is a great one, and then eventually you can turn a switch cast into a change direction cast, the single spey. So you get two benefits there. So roll cast turns into a switch cast, and then I have what I call the pull and pop, okay? And what that just describes is pulling down through the stroke and then a good positive forward stop, okay? So I pull and pop right there. And I'll do that on any cast. So pull and pop, boom. There's my forward cast. Top hand gets up, bottom hand pulls down. So pull and pop. Roll cast, switch cast, pull and pop. 3 great drills to work on that forward cast. Engage the meat of the rod where the horsepower is. Casting will become easier. You'll cast further, cover more water. Thanks for tuning in.